Resident Evil 3 new trailer. Have you seen it?
No.
We're gonna watch it right now.
All right.
Resident Evil 3, the one that I've got question marks for because they keep saying they're like changing a bunch of shit and they're friggin'.
It's gonna be CG. It's gonna be a CG fest.
I'm not feeling it.
The remake Resident Evil 3.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, there he is. She getting beat up.
Easy, lady. I got you.
Who are you? What are you doing?
Name's Carlos, and I'm saving you.
Capcom.
I'm with the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service. UBCS for short.
This city is completely cut off, isolated. We need help. My men cannot
Nice hairdo.
do so long.
Yeah, it's got that K-pop hairdo.
The town's crawling
Oh, there you go.
across the lakes.
Gameplay.
No chance of fighting our way out of the city.
Yep, looks like Resident Evil.
Why is she here? She's unreliable.
It's me he's after. I'll buy you some time.
Hey, wait! Wait, Jill!
There he is, Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah!
Ooh. Resident Evil 3.
Jill! Jill, what happened? Come in!
He's getting up! April 3rd, 2020. All right. So it's actually 1 minute and 40 seconds. Oh, it includes the Resistance.
Resistance.
Oh, that's that game mode.
Yeah.
All right.
So there you go. Looks like Resident Evil.
Yes. Looks like more Resident Evil. Looks all right. I'll play it. I'll play it.
You know, as good as Resident Evil 2 was, and they did as good as you could possibly hope for that one. What I realized after playing it is I just don't like the Resident Evil formula anymore. I think it's not scary, and it's not the pacing is weird.
I don't think it's meant to be scary at this point. I think it's more of
if Resident Evil's not meant to be scary, what the fuck are they doing?
I think it's more of. I think it has horror elements to it. I think it's become more of a. We've become desensitized to it. You know, especially playing a remake when you know what's gonna happen. I mean, there's very few games that I would legit play where there's it's legit scary. I think Resident Evil still does great. I'm in the other boat. I don't think it's played out. I think because they don't come out with these games every year, like you know every other fucking franchise does, I think getting a good Resident Evil game once every 2-3 years is good enough for me. I get a good 10-hour, old school, nostalgic feel in the new generation, and I'm happy. It's better than me consuming the same fucking
I get you. I'm not saying like it's I'm not saying it's like it's trying to be like every other game or something like that.
Yeah.
But it does. Even the remake of 2 still felt, and maybe I'm just misremembering Resident Evil 2 because I haven't played Resident Evil 2's originally in like fucking 15 years. So maybe I'm just misremembering it. But like Resident Evil, where it stands now, still feels, especially in the post-4 world, too actiony. I just feel I feel like I've got too much at my disposal.
Yeah.
At all times.
I mean, it's not really a survival horror game,
and I feel like there's like the tension isn't
Yeah.
There's no tension. So I'm just going through the motions. And the thing about Resident Evil is that it doesn't have the writing or the characters to fucking like allow for me to be invested in the game.
With Resident Evil 7, I got that though. Like that was a legitimately scary game for
Well, it
me
was also
because
built
it was
for VR.
Yeah,
too,
and and it was very different. Like it had the same Resident Evil feel, but the way they set it up felt I was very immersed. That was actually one of the scariest games I've ever played in my life, simply because of the VR added, and they built the game around a VR experience. So, and it was in Resident Evil 7. There was a lot less bullets. There was a lot less.
Yeah, it was more of a.
It was more of a survival horror instead of an action.
Well, if you went back
horror.
and played Resident Evil, you didn't have.
Yeah,
a shitload of
there wasn't
ammo.
a ton of there wasn't a ton of like puzzle, like just random puzzles, and then you just got to go in. It was really surviving.
The scary part about Resident Evil was it wasn't that you didn't know where you were going. It was you had a pretty good idea of where you were going. It was that you knew what it was going to take to get there.
Yeah,
and you had to be, especially if you hadn't played the game before and you didn't know like all the fucking efficiencies of the game.
Yeah,
oftentimes you'd panic. And you were using too much ammo, and then you get to a point where you have dick, and then you're just like
fucked.
you're struggling because
that's why you always got to make multiple
ammo.
saves.
That's right, because you got to be able to go back, right? And so that was its strong point for me originally, the Resident Evil games, and now it just feels like pretty much every other third-person action game that they put within the confines of Resident Evil. Not to say that's not a good game, because Resident Evil 2 was one of the best games of 2019.
Yeah.
I'm just finding
it's not
myself
for you.
harder to get excited about
It's not for you.
I'm even less excited about 3 because they're saying they're going to change so much about 3.
Maybe it's for a good. Maybe it's the good.
Maybe it is for the good. I've got that dope K-pop hair.
Maybe they just don't want another Resident Evil 2 experience, and they want to switch things up a little bit.
It's quite possible.
Because the way I look at Resident Evil 3 is going to be Resident Evil 2, but 3.
Yeah.
That's
basically.
That's.
Well, I mean, 2 and 3, you have Mr. X on one.
They're pretty much the same game, bro.
Nemesis on the other.
They're the same game.
It's the same game.
Yeah.
It's just pretty much it.